In this video, I was going to try to show you how to install UHMW dovetail drawer stops in for the front of a drawer, and as the one what we're looking at right now. This is the tools I'll be using. A small 4-inch square. That could be substituted with what square you want, but I'll show you why that works so well. You can see the pieces of the plastic in the side, a 6mm chisel, a hammer. One hammer will do, but the two together are these. The heavier hammer, the dead blow hammer, works well for seating it when I'm putting it in the first time, and the metal hammer works better when you're putting it in for good. A small dovetail saw, and optionally I use a Stanley 92 plane to adjust the door stops once I have them installed, and a 10mm number 9 gouge makes it easier. It can be done with a chisel, but it's easier if you chart out the slot with the gouge. I start out with doing the layout, and I have the little square here, and I set the small side of the square to be equal to the thickness of the drawer itself, the drawer threads. So I take and lay out that line on both sides, because I'm going to put drawer stops on both sides. On this size drawer, you could possibly get by with one, but they're not that hard to put in, and it really does square them up. My second line, I put in the length of the little handle of the square. That doesn't really matter that much, but with my 92 plane, if I put it that far out, I can actually do the, anyhow, the plane can plane off the end at the end here. And then to set the width of between these two lines, I use it ends up being a little narrower than my stock that I'm going to make the dovetail out of. So I repeat that on the opposite side too. And then you probably can't see this, but anyhow, I do kind of the same thing. Okay, that's the layout. And the next thing I do is use the gouge. Like I said before, you could use the just a chisel for this, but I don't know if you can tell, but anyhow, the gouge is a lot easier, or is easier to do this with. So with the gouge, I'm just trying to get the depth and get a reasonable ramp in there. And then I start with, in this case, since, I didn't tell you that, I'm going to make it out of 1/2 inch wide, 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch wide UHMW plastic. It's the slick stuff like they use. Anyhow, so with the 1/2 inch, I had to use the 6mm width. I've made them up to 3/4 inch out of 3/4 inch stock, and with that you can get by with a 10mm. So I start out by making a cut with the chisel straight up, the main thing I'm doing here is trying not to chip out this area where the dovetail is going to be supported. And that's one of the reasons for using the gouge. It just makes it a lot easier not to chip that area out. So right now I'm just getting deep and getting that cleaned up so that I can start the final cleanup, or start making the actual dovetail part of it. With the layout lines, when you're putting in the dovetails here, on the side past where the front of the drawer is going to be, I get out to the layout lines. But as you get farther back, you stay inside of the layout lines, because as the dovetail comes up, it gets narrower. So you want that, you don't want it to be straight back. You want it, or don't want it to look like it's straight back. It actually should be straight back. It's just that it doesn't look that way because of that it's angling down. So anyhow, I'm taking just small slicing cuts, trying to make the dovetail there, and then I do the same thing on the opposite side. And I'm going to clean up the bobbin here just a little bit to get the ramp straight. And then I'm going to undercut the end of the dovetail, so that anyhow, so it's got the end of the dovetail piece I put in there is going to be dovetailed also on the end, so that has a toe to catch in there. I think the biggest thing is that it just can't be ramped out so that the end wants to try to come out. You want it to be so that it will try to stay in there. Okay, now I'm going to take a knife, which I didn't show that I had used a knife before in my tool selection, but I'm just using a carving knife. You could probably use any pocket knife even, but it needs to be sharp to cut. Well, this stuff is easy, so it's not like you have to be sharp, but sharp tools always make things better. So I'm just trimming, guessing at a dovetail that I put in there, and just trying to match what I put in there. And believe me, I'm not measuring this. This could probably be done with a plane and be more accurate or whatever, but I'm not doing anything with the layouts to make it accurate. So yeah, whatever, it just works. This stuff is pretty forgiving. If you go to the wider, like the 3/4, you can actually make it crunch up. So right now I'm gonna, I doubt if you're gonna be able to tell much. Anyhow, there's a dovetail on the end and a dovetail on the two sides. And I'm going to push it down in here and fit it. Okay, it went in. If it doesn't go in, you have to trim it up a little bit. If it's too loose, I actually I have a piece that's 9/16 instead of a half. So if it's too loose, I just take that one out and make a piece out of the 9/16, and then just clean it up with a knife until it fits in snugly. This I want it to be so that it doesn't, if I pick up on the end of it, it doesn't crawl out of the dovetail. And now I'm going to mark a line. I have the line for the back of the drawer, or the back of the front of the drawer actually. And I'm going to mark in here, mark the dovetail hard on the sides. I'm not trying to make it too short, so if it's too short, you have to make a new one. Not that that's a big deal, but you don't want to do that. So now I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to stop Anyhow. Okay, I'm going to cut off the dovetail with the dovetail saw. And that's it. I cut it off with a dovetail saw, so now I just have this little piece. I'm going to clean it up with the knife. And I'm going to undercut the bobbin of it. It's the opposite of the other side, so that the top that's going to hit the drawer, what's underneath of it doesn't go farther underneath. So I've just got a little recess, and I really doubt you can see this. But now I'll drive it back in there, and like I said when I was describing the tools, oh well, the little hammer, steel hammer works better, but that one went in. Okay, so now we have a there, but we don't know if it's okay. Now we test it the drawer. Okay, in this case it's sticking out quite a bit here. So I'm going to take the chisel and clean it off right now, because it's easier to cut a lot off with the chisel than it is the 92 plane. Okay, and then I'll put the drawer back in and test it. Hopefully we're still a little shy. We're still quite a bit shy. I'm going to go ahead and use the Stanley 92, and with the Stanley 92 you can take off a couple thousandths at a time. Since this was a lot, I'll take off several passes. You can't see them, I'm sure, but I'm getting just little flakes off. And we'll retry it. And it's close, but I'm going to take off like 4 more passes. It's pretty good. Now I'd go ahead and repeat that for the other side, and that's how I make them. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and just repeat the process of the other side. I'm not sure I'll include, or well, if you got it the first time, you're done, go make one. Go make a dresser so you can put drawers on it, or make something to put the drawers on. Like I say, just using the gouge again. Isolating the sides so I don't rip off the sides or chip out the sides. I don't know if you saw that, but I chipped out the sides there. It's not catastrophic if you don't do it too bad, but it's not what you want to do. Reset. recess in the back side. I clean up the corners and back. To do. Dovetailing the plastic again, or UHMW, ultra high molecule weight polyurethane. I'll put that in the notes. And then you do that to the end also. And then we test it. Ooh, we're way wide this time. Okay, so I'm going to clean up, well, I'm going to clean up that side that I cut out some, or busted up some. Cut it from that side, so hopefully it'll won't be as bad. Well, you're seeing me be it bad. Nope, still wide. Okay, it went in that time. And then we pull it out if we can. And we'll cut it off.